All right, black and white sports supporters. Well, let's talk about Unrivaled. Oh my goodness. I made a point to not make an Unrivaled ratings video until the Monday ratings came out. Now, why did I do that? Well, I did it because I wanted to make sure that we saw whether or not there...
All right, black and white sports supporters, let me talk to you about Unrivaled because, oh my goodness, this situation is absolutely wild. I made a point to not make an Unrivaled ratings video until the Monday ratings came out, and I did that for a very specific reason. I wanted to make sure that we saw whether or not there was actual hemorrhaging of fans happening, and boy did we get our answer. This was just 7 days ago when they were bragging about a percent increase over 2025, claiming $40 million in league revenue in its second season. I was sitting there thinking interesting because the media rights deal from TNT is $16.667 million of that total. They signed a 6-year contract, 3 years, and then another 3-year option if TNT chooses to pick that option back up. I can tell you right now, as it stands, they are not going to do that at all.
How little fans they had to actually hemorrhage off. Now, in case you don't remember, this was just 7 days ago. All right, a 48% increase over 2025. $40 million in league revenue in its second season. And I was like, interesting. And what made that interesting is, well, the media rights deal from TNT is $16.667 million of that. They signed a 6-year contract, 3 years, and then another 3.
In 2027, it would be a miracle if somehow, someway, this league is not doomed if it is not completely done for and finished. This $40 million revenue is not basketball generated. This is investor generated money. And at some point, investors want returns on their investment. They want to see what was actually generated by the product itself, not just money being pumped in from outside sources. Let me just jump into this and show you what happened on Friday. Last Friday, right before Breanna Stewart did what she did, the Phantom vs. Vinyl game on TNT did 30,000 viewers in the 18 to 49 demographic. The simulcast on True TV for that same game added a mere 20,000 more viewers, which indicates a complete failure to capture broad interest. These figures place the league at 131st, 125th, and 129th in total cable rankings, which is an absolute disaster.
T is $16.667 million of that. They signed a 6-year contract, 3 years, and then another 3-year option if TNT chooses to pick that option back up, which I can tell you right now, as it stands, they're not going to do that. I mean, in 2027, it would be a miracle if somehow, some way, this league is not doomed, if it's not done for. And this $40 million revenue is not basketball generated.
Now, if you want to try to figure out total viewership, I went back and looked at last year's numbers, and that is going to be roughly 4 times what is shown in the 18 to 49 demographic. You may be staring at a rating right here that is down under 100,000 total viewers, maybe even as low as 80,000 viewers. Oh, but wait, it is going to get worse, much worse. So let me take you back. Over the weekend, Breanna Stewart came out holding this abolish ICE sign, and she explained her reasoning for it, saying she wants to uplift families and communities instead of fueling fear and violence. I made a video on that, and I triggered some of the people that were subscribed to this channel, and I waved at them as they went right off into the sunset. The next day, I replaced every one of them with a follow-up video, and all those subs came back. Not those people, but people with common sense came back and blew right past them.
Is not doomed if it's not done for. And this $40 million revenue is not basketball generated. This is investor generated. Well, at some point, investors want returns. They want to see what was generated. So let's just jump into this. This is Friday, okay? Last Friday. This is prior to Breanna Stewart. Right here, the Phantom versus Vinyl, TNT, did 30,000 viewers in the 18 to 49.
The weekend brought no relief at all, only further confirmation of the league's struggle for relevance and survival. Saturday's Lunar Owls and Breeze game garnered another meager 30,000 viewers, landing at 133rd in cable rankings. The Hive versus Laces matchup fared even worse, bottoming out at 20,000 viewers and a dismal 167th ranked. These numbers suggest total viewership plummeted under 100,000, perhaps as low as 80,000, which is a truly shocking and unsustainable figure for any professional league. A closer look at that $40 million revenue figure reveals a crucial, almost hidden detail that changes everything. It is not generated by basketball this substantial sum is primarily investor generated, which is a critical distinction that exposes the league's true financial vulnerability. Investors eventually seek returns on their capital, not just philanthropic ventures, meaning this revenue model is not sustainable without genuine audience engagement.
7th ranked. Now, if you want to try to figure out total viewership, I went back and looked at last year's. That's going to be roughly 4 times what's showed in the 18 to 49 demographic. You may be staring at a rating right here that's like down under 100,000, like 80,000 viewers. Oh, but wait, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Let me take you back over the weekend. Right, Breonna Stewart explains her abolish ICE sign.
Then you have got the game that was 130th in the total rank, and this was on TNT, folks, not some random cable channel. Then you've got Down to the Laces versus the Breeze, which was also on TNT, not on True TV, and it registered. And NA, you see this. A 0.02 or below means the total rank shows not, which means it did not even rank, it did not even register on the cable ratings. That just goes to show you that when you did that protest, only like 10,000 fans decided to drop out. Only like 10,000 fans said, "No, I am gonna quit." That shows you how few fans there were to lose in the first place, which is quite the indictment of this entire operation. The players better sign that CBA deal. That is all I am going to say about that situation.
Let me take you back over the weekend. Right, Breonna Stewart explains her abolish ICE sign. She came out holding this sign right here, abolish ICE. I made a video on that, and I triggered some of the retards that were subscribed to this channel, and I waved at them as they went right off into the sunset. The next day I replaced every one of them with a follow-up video. All those subs came back. Not those people, but, you know, people with common sense came back. Blew right past them. So I got them back.
The media rights deal with TNT, valued at a mere $16.667 million over 6 years further, highlights the league's precarious position. In the sports world, while it seems like a substantial sum to an outsider in the cutthroat world of television sports, it is a pittance barely registering. Compared to other professional leagues, this paltry sum underscores the network's minimal investment and commitment, which is a stark indicator of Unrivaled's perceived value in the marketplace. The looming threat of TNT opting out of their contract in 2027 casts a dark shadow over Unrivaled's future and survival prospects. With the current dismal ratings, it is virtually guaranteed they will not pick up the option, which means the league could lose its primary broadcast partner. That would be a catastrophic blow that would effectively doom the venture completely. It is a miracle if the league even survives until then, which is a brutal financial truth that no amount of investor money can indefinitely mask.
130th in the total rank. This was on TNT, folks. And then you got down to the Laces versus the Breeze. This was on TNT, not on True TV. It registered an NA. You see this, a .02 or below. Or below. Total rank, NA. Didn't even rank. Didn't even rank on the cable ratings. Total view.
The financial house of cards extends further with the impending Warner Brothers sale, which is a massive corporate shift happening right now. This could see Unrivaled yanked entirely from HBO Max, its primary streaming platform, eliminating another crucial, albeit struggling avenue for viewership. Losing access to a major streaming service would deal a fatal blow, cutting off a lifeline that, while thin, still offered some visibility to potential fans. The league faces an existential crisis on multiple fronts, and the walls are closing in from every direction. Then came the catalyst for widespread public fury, which was Breena Stewart's controversial "Abolish ICE" sign displayed prominently during a public appearance. Her message was seen by many as a tone-deaf political statement directly contrasting with the league's struggle to attract a broad fan base. This act ignited a firestorm of criticism, and for many, marked a point of no return for their support of the league.
130th in the total rank. This was on TNT, folks. And then you got down to the Laces versus the Breeze. This was on TNT, not on True TV. It registered an NA. You see this, a .02 or below. Or below. Total rank, NA. Didn't even rank. Didn't even rank on the cable ratings total view.
The reaction to Stewart's sign was immediate and visceral, as many viewers expressed outrage, interpreting the message as a direct assault on law enforcement. This outspoken activism, regardless of its intent, alienated a significant portion of the already small fan base, leading to an undeniable exodus of viewers. People simply wanted to watch basketball, not political declarations being shoved in their face during a sporting event. The consequences were instant and severe, as the viewership numbers tell the entire story. I directly confronted Stewart's actions on this channel, calling out the double standard and the perceived hypocrisy of her statement while ignoring other pressing societal issues. This critique resonated with many who felt the league and its players were out of touch, further fueling the outrage. It contributed to the subscriber drop-off on my own channel, which was eventually recouped by common sense followers, illustrating the broader sentiment. The most devastating consequence of Stewart's controversial statement arrived with Monday's ratings, which painted an even grimmer picture than anyone expected. Despite a slight bump to 50,000 viewers for the Lunar Owls vs. Hive game on TNT, it was still a pitiful 130th in total rank. More damning, the Laces vs. Breeze game, also on TNT, registered an NA that did not even rank in the cable ratings at all. Total viewership disappeared completely, which is a direct, undeniable blow after the Abolish ICE controversy. This NA rating for a TNT broadcast is an unprecedented humiliation, signifying that the game essentially failed to register any meaningful viewership whatsoever. It is a stark visual representation of a league on life support, as described by commentators bleeding its already minuscule audience. Breena Stewart's outrage likely stems from having this undeniable evidence presented, linking her actions directly to the league's rapid demise. The chilling reality is that players, claiming Unrivaled as a backup plan to traditional leagues, are watching that plan implode before their very eyes. They are in essence protesting their own safety net into the ground, which is a self-destructive cycle that jeopardizes their careers and future earnings. This dire situation proves that many players fundamentally misunderstand the fragile economics of niche sports and the delicate balance required to maintain fan engagement. Further complicating Unrivaled struggle is the absence of prominent players like Angel Reese and Sabrina Ionescu, who played last year but have chosen to pursue other ventures instead. Their decision to step away from the league is a telling indicator of its internal instability and lack of appeal even to potential stars. Their departure denies Unrivaled much-needed talent and visibility, further contributing to its weekly demise, which is a grim spectacle for fans to witness. The truth that Caitlin Clark's success throws into sharp relief is the chasm between Unrivaled's $16 million media deal and the WNBA's staggering $200 million+ agreement. This vast disparity is not just about different leagues. It is a brutal measure of perceived value, marketability, and crucially fan-base size and engagement. It highlights the WNBA's significantly stronger, more stable foundation, making Unrivaled's financial struggles appear even more desperate by comparison. The most damning indictment of Unrivaled is the revelation that losing just 10,000 fans post-controversy was considered a catastrophic event for the league. This is not because 10,000 is a large number, it is because it exposes how few fans the league had to begin with. It demonstrates an alarmingly thin margin of error and a profound lack of broad appeal, proving the league was always teetering on the edge. They were vulnerable to any misstep or controversy from the very beginning. Ultimately, the players' ongoing demands regarding revenue sharing and the collective bargaining agreement become critically unsustainable in the face of these brutal financial truths. Their negotiating position is severely weakened by the league's abysmal performance and reliance on external investors who are not seeing returns. This stark reality demands a complete reevaluation of their strategy, which is a painful concession that may be the only path to salvaging a future. The truth revealed and amplified by Caitlin Clark's success is a painful, undeniable reality that cannot be ignored. Unchecked activism and a disconnect from fan desires can and will dismantle a league no matter the initial investment or good intentions. Brina Stewart's outrage underscores the raw emotion, but facts remain facts and numbers do not lie. Players must now acknowledge the dire financial straits, adjust their demands, and truly engage with the business side of their sport. The stark numbers flashed across national television, showing a truth so brutal it silenced entire locker rooms and forced people to confront reality. Caitlin Clark, the face of basketball's future, did not utter a single word on NBC, yet her very existence amplified a devastating financial reality for rival leagues. Her success shined a harsh light on their precarious foundations and exposed just how fragile these experimental ventures really are. Brina Stewart's outrage was instant, a furious reaction to the undeniable proof that player activism was gutting viewership, jeopardizing careers, and painting a grim picture. This was not just a critique, it was a cold, hard reveal of the consequences of their actions. Stewart's fury was a raw public outburst against the messenger, or perhaps the mirror reflecting the grim truth back at her. The unrivaled league, once touted as a burgeoning success, is now facing its worst ratings crisis ever recorded in its short history. This unprecedented collapse is not just a minor dip in viewership, it represents a fundamental rejection from audiences, signaling a deep systemic issue. The problems go far beyond typical seasonal fluctuations that every league experiences. The league's very foundation is cracking, exposing a dramatic disconnect between the aspirations of its organizers and the harsh realities of viewer engagement. This raises serious questions about its long-term viability and whether it can survive beyond the next few years. Regular sports fans do not want to see the protesting in a league that had so few fans to begin with. Far as we know, only like 10,000 fans decided to drop out. Only like 10,000 fans said, "Nah, I am gonna quit watching." That shows you how few there were to lose, which is quite the indictment, and these players better sign that CBA or face complete collapse.